Okay? Yeah. Yeah. This has to be your daughter, too. Your wife, for that matter, if she were raped. You're anyone else that you know. If we're going to ban abortion, that's what we're considering. So, put the question to me. I don't have a daughter or wife or any of that, but suppose I did. If my daughter was raped, and if she were capable of taking the pregnancy to term, otherwise it's that, life of the mother argument. But if she were perfectly capable, physically, but emotionally abhorred the idea, she didn't want that reminder of such a horrible experience, didn't want to go through all of that, all the looks, all the people, all the embarrassment, all the twisted feelings inside. If my daughter were raped, wanted to have an abortion, I would say no. Reluctantly. And, I would try and help her in whatever way I could. Obviously. To get her out of this darkness inside that happens after such a wicked event as this. I try to be there for her, I try to be comforting, and I try to be... And if she said, I need an abortion, with tears in my eyes, I would say, please, no. So I'm not a hypocrite on this. I do realize it's a horrible situation. But what am I to do? What am I to say? That it's okay to what I believe is killing a child. And dear me, I hope that I'm wrong on that. Somehow. Wouldn't it be nice if children hadn't been dying all this time, that abortion's been legal? And it looks like a human. 2 hours and 2 feet. What changes? And people make other arguments. They argue that abortion's been going on since, for thousands of years or whatever. I'm like, yeah. So is murder and crime and rape, for that matter. It doesn't make it right. Or others argue that because, if abortion is illegal, people will seek abortions from untrained doctors or people who aren't even doctors at all. And they'll do it in unsafe ways, and oftentimes the woman herself dies. Well, yeah, that is an unfortunate side effect. But should we just make everything legal then? Do we say, there's so many murderers who put themselves at risk when they murder people. So we should have murder legal, but regulated. And that way, the murderers won't die. And actually, it's rather, rather foolish of me to bring up the term murderer. It's as if I were saying that the pro-choicers are murderers. They're not, of course. They're pro-choicers. They believe in women's right to choose. A right which, as I've said, makes a lot of sense. But there's a child involved! Dang it! You know, maybe we could focus on preventing this problem in the first place. If we used contraception, you know, if people use that regularly, or what if we invented some better medical way of doing it? Wouldn't it be cool if someone get like a shot, and then, you know, that acts as a contraceptive for like 10 years or something? Unless you want like some counter shot that undoes it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and that might be nice. And in future medical technology, we may have that, so that it's almost impossible to get pregnant without, you know, unless you intended to be pregnant. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Of course, that brings up another problem. And this is the thing with weird middle things, because people say, if abortion is illegal, you know, people will have unsafe abortions, so you have to make it legal. Go ahead with that. But then, you know, and there's a weird sort of trade-off there, where if you don't like the abortion, but you also don't like the mother dying, and there's a similar situation with the contraception issue, because for moral reasons, people don't want you know, kids especially, not kids, teens, you know what I mean, from having like promiscuous sex. And so there's a movement in some places, sort of thing, to limit the availability of contraceptions, so that way the kids won't have sex at all. Which theoretically a kid might do that, or they might have sex anyway, and then, oh, if they had a contraception, then they wouldn't have much of a problem with extra children that nobody wanted. And things like that. So there's that thing. You know, it's like, in this case, providing the contraceptions is, in some view of some people, almost the same sort of thing as making the abortions legal. In the sense of, okay, well, we prevent the unneeded child, then we might be encouraging promiscuity, which for all we know might just lead to that many more children anyway, because people won't even use the contraceptions or whatever. There should be some focus on that stuff. That magic shot I mentioned, or something. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if there were no unwanted pregnancies? That's what the pro-choicers do, though. The voices for Planned Parenthood. That's what some of them call themselves, right? Which, hey, I think we all love Planned Parenthood. Unplanned Parenthood tends to be much more difficult. But if an unplanned parenthood happens, you're not allowed to ditch the child. Like, well, it's not a real human. It's not developed into human yet. Well, it's the same thing with an infant. Should we change that up too? Is infanticide okay? 2 hours and 2 feet. What changes on that line? They went to labor. Now it's a human, but before, no. This is just some cells. Now it's a human. It's human cells. A human is a bunch of cells in a particular formation, and that creates consciousness and crap somehow. You know. And then there's the religious question of, well, where does the soul come in there? At what point does the soul enter the body? At what point does the... I don't know. Did a video called My Thoughts on Religion. Gee, if I had to guess, I would guess that the whole question of soul ends up being more complicated than most religions bargain for. That's just a hunch. These definitions of what is a person end up being really complicated when you think about them.